Yo, what's up? This is Prince Sports here. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and let's get into it. I want to talk about a video that I saw. One of my friends texted me and told me to react to this and talk about it. It was a debate between Max Kellerman, Screaming A. Smith, and Jason Williams. According to Max Kellerman, James Harden isn't a top 5 best player in the game right now. Now, there's a lot of criteria that you got to go into when you're talking about top 5. But for me, for the most part, to be like at least 1 through 3, you have to be all great on both ends of the floor. You have to do more than one thing, and you have to bring more than one thing to the table, right? But this isn't about that. This is about a top 5, okay? So, when it comes to James Harden, what he excels at the most is scoring, right? He does it in a quite unique, different way. He has a great skill set. He's an entertaining player to watch on an offensive end. That's his best thing that he brings to the table. But the way he goes about doing it, I guess, for some people is a turnoff, because he does go to the foul line a lot. He has a great ability to create fouls on his defender. And some people, from an entertainment standpoint, find that boring. So, with that being said, there are some players that you could say is definitely flat out better than James Harden. But then there's a couple players that you could say is debatable to rather they're better than James Harden. Okay, one is like Anthony Davis or Paul George and stuff like that. All right. To me, by default, James Harden is a top 5 best player in the game for the simple fact that if we're counting every player, they're fully healthy. Kevin Durant is fully healthy. Steph Curry's fully healthy. Everybody. Then James Harden naturally goes to his natural position, which is a top 10 best player in the game. James Harden naturally is a top 10 best player in the game for what he does. Okay, you got a guy that had a run of averaging 34 points a game. All right? But you fail to realize is that 43% shooting from the field from a certain stretch. Okay, that's kind of bad for a guy that averages 34 points a game but shoots only 43% from the field. That's a lot of inefficient nights. Anthony Davis could do what James Harden could do and a little more. He's a better defender and he could score. So naturally, Anthony Davis is a better basketball player than James Harden. So, with that being said, Max Kellerman right now is 100% wrong because James Harden is a top 5 best player in the game right now because your best asset for any basketball player is availability. It's the ability to perform and play. Okay? No matter how great you are, if you're not on the court playing, I can't evaluate you, I can't talk about you, and I can't give my true opinion to how good you really are. All right? So with that being said, my top 5, Kawhi Leonard number 1, LeBron James still at number 2 because he has to knock off Kawhi Leonard. Number 3, the Greek Freak. Number 4, Anthony Davis. Number 5, James Harden. Okay? Now you could go vice versa back and forth with 4 and 5 for James Harden and Anthony Davis, right? I think Max Kellerman's a little bit overboard. I don't know where he's coming about saying James Harden is in the top 5 best player right now. All the facts point to him being the top 5, even if it is by default. Because if you pick Kevin Durant as a full season, he's automatically going to take James Harden's spot, rightfully so. He deserves it. It's Kevin Durant. Okay. Then you got a Steph Curry. So I would say James Harden is always in the top 10. He's the main 2 guys he has to always get past all the time. Is like a Kevin Durant or a Steph Curry. I'm putting those 2 in the equation because they was hurt this season for the most part. The players that you could debate with James Harden for the top 10 is Paul George. They both got some similar things in their career because they both have narratives of not showing up in the playoffs. Both of them do. So they both have to beat those demons and overcome those demons, so to speak. You know. But as of right now, if I had to make a pick, James Harden is the top 5 best player in the game, and for just this season. But I think next season, if everybody's fully healthy, he'll be naturally a top 10. But he would have to really bust his ass off and become better two-way player to get that in that top 5 for good. And he'll have to show up in the playoffs. He had to defeat that narrative, you know. Granted, he was going up against the Golden State Warriors. Golden State Warriors are, you know, they were a super team with Kevin Durant. But keep in mind, in 2015, and even when Kevin Durant got hurt, they still had a chance to capitalize on that and beat the Golden State Warriors, and they just failed. For some reason, they just couldn't get past them. And they were the number 1 threat to the Golden State Warriors. If you push them to 7 games, you have a legit chance of beating the Golden State Warriors, and they didn't do it. You know, yeah, there was no Chris Paul, but if you needed Chris Paul to beat that Golden State Warriors team, but James Harden didn't show up that much. That says a lot. I mean, I remember that Game 7, that Houston Rocket team was just, it's like they dove in the towel because they went all for broke by just tossing up threes. But that's neither here or there. My thing is, James Harden is going to have to, he has to shake off those demons, and he has to prove to people that he could perform at the highest level in the playoffs. Shake that narrative, you know. And he has to develop his game on both ends of the floor. He's an underrated passer, I give you that. But the defense and doing other stuff has to come into play. The scoring thing, he has to let that go a little bit and try to put the clamps on some people sometimes, and come up with different ways to try to win other than just trying to outscore people. But Max Kellerman is bugging by saying James Harden isn't a top 5 player right now. Also, look out for Luka, because if Luka develops to being even more of a better player, he could perhaps be a top 5 player next season. Who knows? So James Harden, the clock is ticking. Just like with anybody, time waits for no man. So he has to step up to the plate. Peace.